You're at your laptop late at night, trying to buy a domain for a new project. You type a few ideas into Google, check if they're free, glance at some competitors, maybe stalk a couple of founders on LinkedIn. None of it feels important enough to remember. The next morning, an investor sends you a screenshot. A weird people also search for panel where your name sits next to a scam company and a sketchy leaked email. That's the moment you realize something uncomfortable. Google's permanent record of you is real, and parts of it are leaking into places you don't control. For Google, you are 3 different people at the same time. There is you as a user, logged into Gmail, YouTube, and Android. There is you as a subject, where Google's search engine and maps show things about you that exist somewhere on the internet. And there is you as an operator, if you own a domain, run an app, use Google Ads, or manage a workspace. All 3 create records. All 3 can leak. As a user, your Google account is a history machine. Your searches, YouTube views, location trails, Android backups, voice snippets, and logins all land in activity logs. That history is not evil by itself. It makes autocomplete work, remembers your roots, and helps you find that article you forgot to bookmark. The risk appears when your account is weakly protected and someone else walks into that history like it's an unlocked office. Imagine a freelancer whose Gmail is the hub for everything: invoices, client documents on Drive, password resets for hosting, private YouTube playlists with draft content. They reuse a password from an old design forum that got breached 3 years ago. An attacker buys that breach data, tries the same email and password on Gmail, gets in, and quietly sets up a forwarding rule so every new message to payments at you goes to them as well. In one move, the attacker has your private correspondence, your client list, and a map of your business. That is Google's permanent record weaponized against you. As a subject, Google surfaces things about you that live on other sites. A court filing, a hacked database a journalist uploaded, an angry blog post, a review, an old directory listing, a PDF you forgot about. When those pages get indexed and tied to your name, your reputation page 1 starts to look messy. Even if you never touch those sites yourself, they become part of the picture people see when they search you. Think of a founder whose name ends up in a leaked marketing spreadsheet. Someone at a partner company stores a Google sheet with emails, phone numbers, and notes like high spender, likes to invest, and accidentally makes it public. A search for the founder's name plus city starts showing that sheet in the results. Now their reputation as a careful, discreet professional is sitting next to a sloppy leak they didn't cause. As an operator, your Google presence includes things like your app on the Play Store, your business listing on Maps, your website in Search Console, and your ad accounts. Each of those has its own mini record: reviews, policy strikes, suspensions, security notices, crash reports, domain ownership checks. A compromise there is not just technical, it's public. A hijacked business listing that points callers to a scam phone number hurts your brand more than any private hack in your inbox. So the question becomes, how do you live with this permanent record without going paranoid? And how do you react when parts of it leak? First, you treat your main Google account like a master key. If it falls, everything else is easier to attack. Make it boringly strong. That means using a unique, long password stored in a password manager, turning on 2-step verification, and ideally using passkeys or a hardware security key if your devices support it. In plain words, one strong master phrase, a password manager to remember the rest, and a second lock on the door. In plain words, one strong master phrase, a password manager to remember the rest, and a second lock on the door. Next, run Google's own Security Checkup. It's a simple panel that tells you where you're logged in, which apps have access, and whether you've had any recent alerts. This is like a quick health check. You want to see familiar devices, familiar locations, and only tools you actually use. If you see an old phone, revoke it. If you see an app you don't remember authorizing, cut it off. If you see repeated sign-in attempts from regions you don't recognize, that is an early warning sign that your email is floating around in lists attackers are testing. Now, move from secure my account to audit my footprint. This is the part most people skip because it feels vain or awkward, but if you're a creator, founder, or freelancer, your name is your brand. Open a private or incognito window and search your full name with your city, your brand name, your main email handle without the domain, and the usernames you use across platforms. Do this as if you were a suspicious client doing due diligence on you. As you scroll through the results, you are looking for 4 things. First, content you control and like: your website, your LinkedIn, your main social profiles, your app listing. Second, neutral mentions: conference agendas, directory listings, portfolio sites. Third, messy or outdated stuff: old accounts, broken profiles, posts that no longer represent you. Fourth, red flags: breach data, doxing, attack posts, strange PDF or spreadsheet results, and anything that exposes private details such as addresses, ID numbers, or children. Whenever you spot something in the 3rd or 4th category, do 2 things immediately. Take a screenshot that shows the page, the URL, the date, and, if possible, the search result that led you there. And write down a short note in plain language: what it is, when you saw it, and why it's a problem. Think of this as your incident diary. It doesn't have to be fancy. A single document or note with timestamps is enough. This diary will help if you need to talk to a platform, a lawyer, or even law enforcement. It also stops you from forgetting details when stress is high. This diary will help if you need to talk to a platform, a lawyer, or even law enforcement. It also stops you from forgetting details when stress is high. For each item, your goal is either remove, hide, or contextualize. Removal is when you can get the content itself taken down or made private. That might mean logging into an old Google account and deleting a public Google Drive file, changing sharing on a calendar, or editing a YouTube playlist from public to unlisted. It might mean emailing a site owner and politely asking them to remove your details. It might involve using Google's own removal tools for certain kinds of sensitive data, like explicit images or clear doxing. Hiding is about search results. Even if a page still exists, sometimes you can get a specific result removed from Google's index when it's clearly outdated, inaccurate, or violating certain content rules. This isn't a magic wand. Google does not remove things just because they're unflattering. But for old addresses, phone numbers, or content that clearly violates policies, these tools can be useful. When you submit, refer to your incident notes and be specific, not emotional. When you submit, refer to your incident notes and be specific, not emotional. Contextualizing is what you do when removal is impossible or too slow. If there is a negative article or angry review that is not going away, your best move is to build a stronger, more current layer on top of it. That means improving the pages and profiles you control so they rank higher, a well-structured website with your name, consistent bios on major platforms, and content that reflects your current work. Over time, strong, updated pages tend to sit above dusty drama in the results. Let's talk about leaks that start inside Google's own tools, because those feel the most unfair. A common pattern is the accidental public file. Someone shares a Drive document to anyone with a link, then pastes that link in a public place. Google's crawler finds it, follows it, and now your internal spreadsheet can be discovered by strangers if it gets indexed or shared. The fix is dull but essential. Do a regular sweep of your Drive and shared folders. Sort by shared with others. Look for anything that says anyone with link, and ask yourself, would I be okay if this showed up in search? If the answer is no, lock it down. Sort by shared with others. Look for anything that says anyone with link, and ask yourself, would I be okay if this showed up in search? If the answer is no, lock it down. The same logic applies to Google Forms, public calendars, and unlisted YouTube videos. Unlisted is not truly secret. If you paste the link into a forum or email that gets archived publicly, it can spread. Treat anything hosted on a public platform as potentially discoverable, and never use those links for highly sensitive data. For business owners and creators, pay extra attention to your Google Maps and Play Store presence. Claim your business listing if you haven't. Make sure the phone number and website are correct and monitored. A simple but nasty tactic is for attackers to suggest edits to a listing so calls route to them. If you ignore the alerts, your own official Google panel becomes an attack surface. Check your listings regularly, respond to reviews, and enable notifications so you see changes quickly. On the Play Store or Chrome Web Store, watch for impersonation. If your brand has any visibility, someone will eventually publish an app or extension with a similar name or icon. The sooner you catch it, the easier it is to report and remove. Set up a simple habit. Once a month, search your brand in the store as if you were a confused user trying to download your app. Your reputation depends on people installing the right thing. Now, What happens when the worst-case scenario hits? You find a serious leak tied to your name in Google results. Maybe it's a doxing post with your address and family photos. Maybe it's a breach dump that includes your ID document. Maybe it's an extortion site claiming to have compromising images and demanding Bitcoin. The first rule is, do not panic click and do not negotiate. Do not download random proof files. Do not run strange attachments. Do not pay extortion. Your first moves should be clean and methodical. Capture evidence with screenshots, including URLs and timestamps. Note the search terms that bring it up. If the site allows comments or contact, resist the urge to engage directly. That often encourages further harassment. Your next step is to involve platforms with real power. For doxing, non-consensual, intimate images, or child-related content, many regions treat this as serious abuse. Google and most major platforms have dedicated forms to report these issues. Use those, provide the evidence you collected, and answer calmly and precisely. If you feel physically unsafe, this is also the moment to talk to local authorities. Your incident diary and screenshots give you something concrete to hand over. On the security side, assume that any credentials mentioned in a leak are compromised. Change passwords, revoke tokens and API keys, rotate backup codes, and check for logins from unknown locations across your Google account and other key services. Consider enabling extra verification steps for sensitive actions, like changing recovery options or transferring domains. One underrated habit is to keep a small private reputation and security log, not just for big crises, but for weird little events. That email from a stranger referencing a private detail, the sudden wave of password reset emails you didn't trigger, the random login attempt from a country you've never visited. These are like weak tremors before a bigger quake. If you capture them, you can later see patterns and show platforms that something more systemic is happening. Let's also mention the legal and compliance edge without turning this into a law lecture. If a leak involves client data, employee information, or anything regulated in your industry, there may be notification rules or contractual duties. The safest general move is to document everything, stop the bleeding, and talk to a professional in your jurisdiction if the data involved is sensitive or high volume. Your job as a non-lawyer founder or creator is not to memorize regulations. It is to avoid hiding incidents, to keep honest records, and to avoid making things worse with panic responses. So what are the big mistakes people make with Google's permanent record? One mistake is assuming that I deleted it from my computer, so it's gone. If something was online, treat it as archived somewhere. Deleting is still worth doing. It prevents new copies and stops casual discovery. But do not rely on deletion as your only defense. Focus on prevention and fast reaction. Another mistake is mixing roles. Using the same Gmail for everything: your personal life, your company, your domain ownership, your ad accounts, and your anonymous YouTube comments. When that one address leaks, everything connects. A more resilient setup is to separate. One account you never share for registrations and ownership, another for public-facing communication, and, if needed, a third for experimental projects. You don't have to overcomplicate it, but some separation reduces blast radius. A third mistake is ignoring boring emails from Google. Policy warnings, security alerts, and your app has been removed. Notices are dry, but they are also early warning lights. Build a micro-habit. Once a week, search your inbox for security alert, suspicious sign-in attempt, policy violation, and your app or brand name. Spend 5 minutes scanning and clearing. That tiny slice of attention can save you weeks of damage control later. The last mistake is treating reputation only as what people say about me, not what systems show about me. Your Google record is partly social, but it is also technical. DNS records, SSL certificates, WHOIS data, app manifests, support forums, and commit logs all feed into how you look to scrapers, journalists, and attackers. You don't have to master every layer, but you want at least one person in your circle, whether a contractor, friend, or part-time specialist, who can help you keep those technical surfaces sane. Google's permanent record of you is not going away, but it doesn't have to be a trap. If you treat it like a shared notebook between you, your users, and the platforms you rely on, you can shape it. You can lock the important doors, clean up the old mess, and respond with a clear head when something leaks.